Okay, auspicious greetings to all my friends. Welcome to the Sunday check-in session, a half hour of Dharma reflection and community collections. My name is Xiaomeng, and I have been a member of this community since 2020. So if you are a new member, please accept our wholehearted welcome. If you have any questions about our practices and topics, we are all here to help. If you are a regular, well, welcome back. So it is customary in Australia to begin any meetings by acknowledging the traditional owners of our land. So in the spirit of reconciliation, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we work, study, and reside, the Bodhi people of the Dharma Nation, and pay my respect to elders past, present, and emerging. I also pay my respect to the traditional custodians of the various lands on which you all are. The check-in session have been developed by our Communities of Practice team and the entire community. The sessions aim to develop a reflective practice in response to changes. Guided by humanistic Buddhism, we'd like to cultivate our practices and building memorable friendships. So for the June sessions, we are delighted to have Venerable Miao Guang back to share the Bodhi Light Tales, enjoying selected short stories on mindfulness and wisdom, and explore deeper meaning together. Today, Venerable Miao Guang will conclude her insightful series with a story on peaceful orchids, encouraging us to stop and recall our original intentions and how this might impact our response to situations. So let's welcome Venerable Miao Guang.
Thank you very much, Xiaomeng. And good morning, good afternoon, good evenings, everyone. Let's begin with a few minutes of guided meditation. I am glad that you have found the previous guided sessions helpful. And so to end my participation for the June series, I would like to continue with the 4 ways of establishing mindfulness. As we have covered the presence of skin, flesh and bones, we're going to do this in the same manner by now turning our attention to the awareness of the presence of the earth element, which is solidity in our body. So let us begin. Now, kindly make sure that you are comfortably seated in your chair with the soles of your feet touching the floor or the ground, and your spine is straightened in a comfortable and non-stressful way. Visualize that from the back of your skull to the back of your neck, all the way down to the bottom of your spine, it forms a straight line. Hands on your thighs, arms hanging off your shoulders comfortably. Your chin tucked in. Now, just as my body is settled on this chair, may my mind settle on this body and let it guide me through the establishment of mindfulness, through the awareness of the presence of the earth element, which is solidity. Now, solidity means the solid and hard parts of our body. Now, turning our attention to the top of our skull. As I sit here with open awareness, I'm aware of the presence of the element of solidity on the top of my head, which is the hard part that may consist of skins, bones, or any part of the body that is hard and solid, which supports the body. If you find it hard to visualize the earth element, you can begin by becoming aware of the presence of something hard like your bones. And then this awareness will grow into the rest of the body that also has solidity. It will take time, there's no hurry, and give yourself some more minutes to get accustomed to this kind of contemplation. Now, as I draw my focus to the whole part of my head, which includes my face, I allowed myself to slowly give rise to the awareness of the presence of solidity throughout my head and my face, which could be the top of my skull, behind my eyebrows, the hard parts of my nose, the upper part of my teeth, the lower part, which is my jaws and the lower teeth. Now to the back of my neck, earth element. As I do this, I am like a farmer that's walking around the field with a bag of seeds that has a hole in it. The seeds are my thoughts. As I walk through the field, the seeds would drop. But once they drop, they're in the past. As simple as that. There's no need to hold on to any thoughts. My effort today is to draw my attention to the presence of the earth element, which is solidity. Now my left shoulder, left upper arm, left hand, solidity. Right shoulder, right upper arm, right forearm, my right hand, solidity. My upper torso, solidity, which is the earth element. Should any time my thoughts drift away, just simply smile and tell yourself, ah, my mind has gone for a ride. Now I will guide it back to this moment, here and now, to my body. Now to the lower part of my torso, earth element. My pelvis, earth element, which is just solidity, not from the biological, medical, or any psychological or physical point of view. Simply become aware of the presence of something solid that is in this part of our body, which is the earth element. My left thigh, left knee, left shin, and my left foot, earth element. My right thigh, right knee, right shin, and my right foot, earth element. As I become aware of the presence of the earth element, which may include my skin, my hair, my bones, or any solid part of the body, I'm practicing the establishment of mindfulness by simply becoming aware of the fact that in this physical body, there is the element of the earth, which is solidity. As I do that, I also become aware of the fact that as the earth element is found all throughout my body, the earth element is also found outside of my body. In this world, in the great nature, everything is the same, thereby making myself and everything in this universe equal and not different. As I become aware, I'm also reminding myself I do not own the earth element. It's not me. And it's not something I can control because it contains the characteristics of emptiness. And in any of this part, I can never find a sense of self in it. That is what I do. And this is how, through the establishment of mindfulness, I become connected to the rest of the universe in a sense that makes me equal with everything else. You can practice this at home. Take your time to contemplate the presence of the earth element, slowly through the body scan, with the foundation that we have done from the previous 4 weeks, by first becoming aware of the presence of the skin, the flesh, the bone, and then advancing to the presence of the earth element, all the way to the water element, wind element, and fire element. This will become a very slow and very grounded process for us to establish mindfulness, undistracted. But through this open awareness, we become connected with everything in this world in a gentle, peaceful, and equal way. To conclude today's mindfulness practice, let us slowly open our eyes with a smile. Thank you very much. Sorry that it took a bit of time, but I thought I could use the opportunity for our final meeting this month to share with you how to continue with these 4 establishments of mindfulness in your practices of meditation. Now, let's move on to the story of this week, which is Bodhi Light Tales, story number 25, Peaceful Orchids, which is the final part of the 5 weeks going from Sattva back to Bodhi, the process of awakening. So now, let's dive into the story. It's about the story of Chan Master Jing Dai. He loved orchids deeply. He spent his time freely cultivating these beautiful flowers. One day, Master Jing Dai had to leave the monastery for a Dharma service, so he asked a disciple to care for his orchids. The disciple agreed and diligently watered the orchids every day. One day, he noticed bees buzzing around the flowers, and startled, he accidentally knocked over a row of orchid pots. When Master Jing Dai returned, the disciple, so scared and frightened, confessed, expecting punishment. To his surprise, the master remained calm and said, "Well, I planted these orchids to make offerings to the Buddhas, and I did so just to beautify our surroundings. I never did so to get angry." This is the story. And the story highlights a crucial lesson. We have not come into this world to get angry or to accumulate worries. Master Jing Dai's serene response to the broken orchids reminds us that our purpose is not to harbor negative emotions, but to cultivate peace and understanding. Reflecting on this, we can apply the Chan Master's wisdom to our daily lives. Imagine if we all adopted the mindset of, "I never planted anything just to get angry. I have not planted the orchids just to get angry." This perspective can help us navigate misunderstandings and conflicts in our relationships with parents, friends, colleagues, family, and the world. We do so by having 3 things in our heart, being mindful of the 3 things. First of all, be mindful of joy in our hearts. If we have joy in our hearts, everywhere we go is pleasant. So that is why Venerable Master teaches us the mundane mantra by saying, "It's great to have you." To say it's great to have you in everything, it reminds us of the joy of being grateful for the fact that people are there in our lives, and all the things they have done make our lives whole. So feel joy in the presence of others. And the second thing we can have in our hearts is Chan. If we have Chan in our hearts, every sound we hear can be poetic. Everything we see is a gift. Once, someone sent a jar of sesame sauce to Venerable Master Xing. And having suffered from diabetes, his medical attendants became wary because every single spoon could mean a soaring sugar level. And so they thought of ways to talk him out of eating it. But as soon as Venerable Master heard that it was a gift, he asked the attendant next to him to open the jar immediately and to grab him a spoon. And so the attendant said, Master, this is very high in energy and in sugar. Are you sure? And he says, don't say anything, just give me a spoon. He took a spoon, had a spoonful of it, and he says, wow, this is very nice. Now I have received the gift. He wanted to make sure that the gift was well received. And whoever presented him the gift was not worried that the gift may be misplaced or never reach him. That was the Chan, beyond any limitations and worries in the world. And the third thing to have is Buddha in our hearts. If we have Buddha in our hearts, we will meet every person and situation with kindness. 40 years ago, when Venerable Master first started building the Xilai Temple in Los Angeles, he visited the temple very often. And many a times, he would visit the neighborhood in the presence of a group of disciples. As there were so many of them, they weren't able to fit into the same car, so they had to drive separately. Okay, bearing in mind, there's a monastery rule that in the presence of a senior or an elder, you must never proceed in front of the elder. The elder is always in front of us. So the same rule applied to driving. He had a row of cars. But unfortunately, there was a very bold, young monastic who couldn't help herself but step on the pedal. So accidentally, her car overtook the car of the master. As they arrived at the destination, all the seniors got out of the car and warned her, oh, you're in trouble. You broke a rule. No one is supposed to overtake master's car. Okay. Now you need to be wary. But as everyone started to reprimand this young monastic, Venerable Master got out of the car, walked over to her and said, you drove well. That was it. That was beyond any rules or any comparisons. And it got the monastic out of the difficult situation. She didn't mean it. And so that was the Buddha in our hearts that make us confront everything and every situation with understanding and kindness. And so the orchid mindset can transform how we perceive and respond to life's challenges. And so I would like to share this story as my final participation in June with all of you to end the pentalogy of the awakening process of a bodhisattva, going from sattva to bodhi, where we become comfortable with ourselves, even when we're chilling out in the poop. So now everything that we see will become the orchid that can emit the fragrance of kindness and compassion unwaveringly, without any distractions of the world. That is the quality of the bodhisattva. And so I hope you enjoy the story. This is the first Buddhist story I heard in my whole life when I was 12, and I've remembered it since. And I hope this can serve as a wonderful reminder for us to not get angry and to help us not get angry. So thank you for listening. I hope you have a good weekend.
Okay, thank you, Venerable Miao Guang, for sharing with us the story and also the story from the Venerable Master Xing Yun. And to me, I think the story underscores the idea of that a pure mind can lead to a pure heart, which will transform our perceptions and approaches to different situations. So for everyone to reflect on this story that Venerable Miao Guang just shared, here are the questions to be discussed. The first one is, how can the saying, we have not come into this world to get angry, be applied in our lives? Reflect on a time when maintaining a pure mind transformed a conflict or misunderstanding. And the second one is, how can offering purity of heart, like offering flowers in Buddha practice, improve our daily interactions? consider practical steps to nurture this purity amid life's challenges. So now we will be placed in groups of 3 to 4 to share and discuss. In the discussion, we do recommend you spend some time getting to know each other and then discussing our questions. There will be some Zoom notifications to guide you, but feel free to let the flow of your discussions guide you. Our sessions are guided by metta, which is unconditional love and kindness for all sentient beings. So let's use this breakout session to express and receive loving kindness to and from one another, and take time to pause, share, and listen. We'll also ask you to share some of your findings with the larger group at the end of the breakout room discussion. So now let's go to our breakout rooms for rich and nourishing discussions. See you all back in 15 minutes. So once again, thank you, Venerable Miao Guang. And we really hope the check-in session was helpful to you. And we hope you experience the unconditional love and compassion of this community. But for anyone who might be experiencing a greater need than what today could meet, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. And you can also reach out to the professional organizations on the screen. So next week, we will have Jen Wang join us online and share her chapter from the book Cultivation Compassion to continue our Meet the Authors series. So if you have time, welcome to join us. As we check out today, let's reset the dedication of merits together to send love and compassion to whoever is in need.
Let us now dedicate the goodness of what you have done to all living beings. May kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity pervade all worlds. May we cherish and build affinities to benefit all beings. May Chan, Pure Land, and precepts inspire equality and patience. May our gratitude and humility give rise to great vows.
Okay, a big thank you to Venerable Miao Guang for your time and gift of this whole month of meditations, storytellings, wisdom, and warmth. And thank you, Joy, for being our IT master behind the scenes today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Now we will have our Euro plenary session, so please stay around if you have time. Otherwise, see you all again next Sunday at 11 a.m.